Hello guys, it's been a while, but today I am back with another Destiny 2 video, and we will be looking very closely at the Titan class, specifically how they get around. Titan movement overall is a really strong part of playing a Titan, and you can change up the class a fair bit to customize your movement around your playstyle. We are going to go over the different setups that you can apply to maximize your speed, height and evasiveness, and then talk about some tricks and tips to help you excel. First off, let's talk about mobility. Well, the entire video is really about mobility, but let's focus on the actual stat called mobility for now. There are plenty of other videos out there that compare what each of these stats do, so we'll just go over it very briefly. Mobility only affects two things, the first being movement speed, and the second is jump height. Note that it does not affect sprint speed, which makes it much worse than it sounds. Here we can see a Titan with 2 mobility racing against a Titan with 8 mobility. Well, actually, if you look carefully, it's the same Titan. Anyway, the difference really isn't that much. Most of the time you will be sprinting anyway, so I really wouldn't factor mobility into your Titan build much at all. Those other stats, especially recovery, are far more useful. The only real purpose of mobility is to increase the speed at which you can poke out and shoot at enemy guardians before strafing back behind cover. As for mobility's effect on jump height, here we have the 2 mobility Titan on the left and the 8 mobility on the right. We can see that the difference is noticeable, but it is not enough to be relevant in normal gameplay. And here we have just one more comparison showing how sprint speed remains completely unaffected, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, so what about the Titan's jumps? Now this of course is the most prominent mobility tool that they have access to. They have a jetpack, which is awesome. You only have 3 jumps to choose from, and you can change them around at will. There is high lift, control lift, and catapult lift. These remain the same across all the different subclasses. So first, let's take a look at what height each of these can achieve. As expected, high lift on the left there gets you the most altitude. Control comes in at a close second, and catapult lift is significantly shorter than the other 2. There are a few other important things to learn from this. Notice that catapult gains its height very quickly, but it has by far the shortest hang time. Control lift propels you up faster than high lift, but it does not take you as high, nor provides you with as much hang time as high lift. Okay, but what about jump distance? This little long jump competition shows the now expected pattern. High lift goes the furthest, closely followed by control lift, but catapult lift is very short, despite the fact that it travels quickly. So far, high lift is looking pretty strong, however in the next test things change up a bit. When it comes to lateral movement, moving side to side, we see a different picture. Control lift, seen in the middle, propels you very far and very fast, with high lift taking the second place, and catapult lift again resulting in only a short movement distance. It is important to note that control lift is also the only lift where you are able to meaningfully change your direction while airborne. The other lifts can do this to a very small degree, but control really excels at it. Now that we have a pretty good background on the 3 lift options, let's look at some of the movement tricks that Titans have access to. First off, remember that the point during your jump arc that you activate your lift is very important. If you activate lift while you are still going up in your initial jump, you will travel higher. If you activate it when you are dropping from your jump, you probably won't fly up at all. You'll merely hover above the ground for the duration of the jump's hang time. The exception to this is catapult lift, which is the only jump that will actually propel you upwards at great speed regardless of when you activate it. Now most veterans of Destiny 1 will be familiar with a technique called Titan skating. It is a movement trick that allows you to travel faster than either of the other 2 classes in a straight line. In order to Titan skate, you must sprint forward to gain momentum, then jump, activate your lift as you begin to descend from your initial jump. Once that initial burst of your lift has activated, tap the jump button again to deactivate lift, allowing you to hit the ground and maintain sprint speed. To do this correctly, you will have to tap jump while running, wait till you reach the top of your jump arc, and then double tap the jump button to pulse your lift thruster, then rinse and repeat. So what lift works best to get the most speed when you Titan skate? We did a quick comparison, and control definitely comes out on top. In this footage it does look very close, but I think I did start to move a bit later in that take. Please take my word for it, Control will give you the most linear speed. You can still Titan skate with the other lift options, but it will not be as fast, and it gets a little bit bumpy when using Catapult. Another trick that Titans, and actually all classes can use to enhance their mobility, is to use your slide to redirect your momentum. When you hit the ground and enter a slide, you will slide in the direction that you are facing, not the direction that you are going. This kind of momentum shift is great for evading fire and getting into cover that you have overshot with your initial jump. Titans specifically can actually do this in the air as well, as long as they have a charged melee lunge ability. These include the shoulder charge, the hammer strike, or the shield bash. Although they no longer propel you as far as they used to, they will still be able to change your direction of movement, which is again useful for evading fire or scrambling onto ledges that you otherwise would have missed. Note that these melee lunge abilities also cancel your downward momentum when activated. This means that when you're falling from a great height, if you don't want to activate your jump or don't have any jump left, then you can always just pop off a shoulder charge and you won't take any fall damage. Now the final thing that I want to cover is a couple of exotic armor pieces that do alter your movement. The Dune Marches increases your sprint speed, so we tried that out and found that the increase is really only fractional, although it will add up over longer distances. The second exotic leg piece that affects movement is the Lion Rampant, and this thing is really cool, as it massively extends the duration of your lift thrusters and provides enhanced mobility in the air. If you combine this with increased control, you can remain airborne for extended periods of time and still retain a decent amount of mobility. As we can see from this footage here, the Lion Rampant will also be able to increase your straight line movement speed as it enhances your Titan skating trick as well, making it the premier Titan movement exotic. And that brings us to the end of this video. Please subscribe if you want to know when we make some more videos, and as usual let us know in the comments if you have any other tricks to Titan movement. Thanks for watching, this is Ascendance from 4FS Gaming.